Hello, good afternoon. My name is Redry Kranz, and I'm here once again to talk about something I said on G. Uh, I feel like there will be non-tech videos in the future. In fact, I'm working on a very big non-tech video that will have like a higher production value with more editing and like jokes and stuff like that. It won't be just like a picture that I drew. By the way, the background of this video will probably have me drawing the picture that I use for the background for the rest of the video because I don't want people to come in and say, "Oh, you can't draw, so you have no." I've been drawing since I was a child. I've been drawing. I like drawing, but I feel like AI and more importantly AI art, people that hate it seem to be of a specific political persuasion. They're all leftists, and I'm not sure if that's because most artists seem to be leftists. What I can say is that their issues with the tool seem to be unfounded and baseless. And I intend to show how the AI debate mirrors another event in art history, and it will inevitably find its niche, and the annoying people on Twitter would shut up about it. So, the big thing that I wanted to talk about is photography. The big blow up point is the same thing that is being done to AI art is the same thing that was said about photography. Photography was once deemed not real art. It was once called cheating and not worth your time or whatever they're saying about AI art now. Now you'll be hard pressed to find an artist today who'd say that photography isn't real art. Why? Because the definition of art evolved to include photography. But Red, I hear you say, photography still takes skill, and that's okay to say, but that's not really my argument. My argument is that the same things that can be said of AI art now are the same things that were said about photography before. It's true. Back in the day when photography was first in many realism artists were concerned that they would be out of jobs or whatever because photography made uh, capturing real life concepts easier. Right? These are the exact same arguments that were made. It's lazy. You're not a real artist if you use it. You're a bad person. If they cared about the environment back then, they'd probably say something about the environment. It's all ridiculous. But don't worry, I can see your face. It's full of disgust, though I fear that might be the soy and not my argument. Nevertheless, I'll tackle the next big AI argument, and this one can be really silly if you get into the weeds of it. And that's the one where they like to say that AI art will replace real artists. I don't think so. No real artist is going to be replaced by AI. The only people I can see who would be at risk of their jobs being taken are like those generic clip artists. You know, the guys who make like the clip art for like I don't know Indian YouTube videos or your teacher's presentation on the rules of nature. I don't know. People who like draw like those high def wallpapers, those guys might be affected a little, and maybe some or lower level commissions artists. I guess I don't know. AI is a machine at the end of the day, and a machine lacks creativity. Any artists kind of worried about AI? I know it's kind of rude to say, and I'm being as careful and polite as I can be because again, I don't want to be rude or mean, but any person worried about AI, in my opinion, is just kind of telling on themselves more than anything else. They're like, oh no, I'm not good enough at my creative job to beat a machine that is physically incapable of being creative. I know that sounds condescending and rude, but it's true. AI art can only get so close. Real artists can generally interpret what a consumer wants much better than a computer. If you've ever tried to use AI art, it will give you something generic, and trying to dial it down is actually very difficult. In my experience, I have used it several times just to see what it was about. I've never used it and then claimed it as my own, which I feel like is part of the problem that some people think that, and again it comes down to the argument of it didn't take any skill to do. They kind of just told the computer to do it, and then people get upset, which again I don't know why. And it just doesn't make sense to me because it's not preventing you from doing it. So somebody says, oh, I made this using AI, and then people say, oh, that's cool, and then you who drew your piece of art, you feel upset, I guess, because I don't know, they didn't put in as much work as you did. That's kind of just how the world works, you know. I don't get what the big idea is. Like I've always thought it was strange, the hate for AI art, because it just seems more like whining and the regression of technology more than anything else. This is what I was talking about in my my Luddite video, my internet Ludditism video. These are the these are the Luddists. These are the Luddites, rather not the Luddists. Luddist isn't a word, but yeah. So I don't think the character designers, the animators, those kinds of people, those people are safe for the foreseeable future. If you're a commission artist, like you do like profile pictures, you might have to worry a little bit if somebody doesn't want to pay. Because at the end of the day, it comes down to convenience, doesn't it? Because again, this is why photography replaced realism, because people used to get portraits, but you have to sit down for long hours for the portrait. You have to pay much more because you're paying the person for their time and whatnot. But with uh with a photographer with a camera, it takes a couple seconds. It used to take a lot longer than a couple seconds, to be fair, back when the technology was new. But that's besides the point, isn't it? It take a couple seconds, take less time than a portrait, and then you pay less because there's less time. So it's a matter of efficiency. So that's been happening for years. It's not new, is it? So yeah. So yeah, so just as photographers didn't replace realism artists, there are still realism artists out there that people pay to do things. AI art will not replace artists either. It's just a tool. It always will be a tool, and I believe that the railing against it is preventing it from settling into its niche. Because if it was left alone, people would figure out what its use cases are, and eventually, everything would settle, right? So I want to and I just don't think that it's anything for artists to worry about if they know what they're doing at all, and anybody learning could. So essentially, what they've essentially done, all they've done is rile up the people who like AI art to fight against them. They've caused their own problems because now they're just pushing people away, and that's what I feel like leftists usually do, which is one of um, it might be another video soon, which is the leftist flip flopping. I don't like how they do that all the time, but yeah. So that's all from me. AI, I don't think it's nothing to be too worried about. Yeah, that's it.